You might be wondering what I'm doing back at this boat. Well, there's something I actually neglected to show off when we first got the boat that we can do at any point, just as long as we're in the boat. We can't do it on the airship or anything. Basically, you hold down the A button and press the B button a bunch of times. How many times? I don't know, just keep pressing it, and eventually this'll come up. Now, you have to play this slidey puzzle in order to get some gil, depending on how well you do, and I believe if you rank in certain places, like you get first, second, or third for the high score, you'll actually get some random consumable item. I'm not quite sure of that, though, because I'm kind of terrible at slidey puzzles. I know 2 has items. I know it gives you items, but I know 2 gives you items, but that's a memory game, and I'm actually decent at those, but yeah, I'm terrible at slidey puzzles, so I'll be right back. And what did I tell you? Just under 3 minutes. Yeah, there's no way I'm getting under 30 seconds for that. I'm terrible at slidey puzzles. But I'm not going to go after anything big because I just said I'm terrible at slidey puzzle. But hey, if you're good at them, check it out. I just showed it off because, you know, it's something I missed. Figured I might as well show it off. But anyway, now for the important part of this whole thing. Since we have the Adamantite from the sky, or Flying Fortress, rather, we can go back to the Mount whatever. I've honestly forgotten the name of it. Mount Durgar, home of the dwarves, because of course there's a blacksmith here that will accept this. Wow, I actually cost an NPC to double take. That's pretty impressive. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, you just smashed that with a hammer 3 times. He smashed a purple crystal into a yellowish sword in only 3 strokes. Crafted? There was no crafting there. How did you do that, you magic man? Anyway, the Excalibur is a pretty great weapon. And of course it's a knight-only weapon. So, I know who I'm giving this to. I believe it actually is effective against all elemental types, so that's pretty good. And, yep, that's quite a bit of attack power I get from it, so definitely no drawbacks. Hey, Dante, wait, what? I was just about to brag about my sword, but when did you get that? But you just had the Deathbringer. How did you... 20... Well, I don't know how Dante managed to just get a Masamune out of nowhere. I don't even know what Masamune it is. What is it, the Honjo Masamune? Who knows? But it's a very, very good weapon, very powerful, and not only that, every class can equip it. That's right, every class in the game can equip the Masamune. So it's a pretty damn cool weapon, and it's the perfect thing to have going in here. Well, okay, it can pretty much bring anything in here, but hey, it'll make the job a lot easier than it already is. Alright, I say it's about time we tackle the first of the 4 bonus dungeons. Now, because we unlocked Earthgift Shrine a while ago, it's gonna be a cakewalk to get through. Now, starting off, these bonus dungeons are a bit unique. There are a set number of floors per dungeon, however, each floor is actually randomized. For example, this floor is the first floor now, but on another run-through it could be the second, third, or fourth floors. There are only a few set floors, and those are usually where certain things are contained, and they're usually like on the 5th level of each dungeon, or multiples of 5, something like that. Now, the lame part about these bonus dungeons is there are randomized floors, but you'll usually encounter every floor in a single run-through. If not, you usually don't miss out on anything, it's just sort of a variation on a certain floor. I can think of at least one case of that, but yeah. The thing about these dungeons is you're definitely going to be doing multiple run-throughs if you want the full experience, and unfortunately that means seeing certain floors far more times than you're going to want to. For example, I got ambushed by an enemy I talked to. For example, this floor. This floor is very, very, very tedious to do. Basically, it's this one huge sort of semi-maze. I mean, there are dead ends, but it's not really that big of a maze. However, there are required random encounters scattered around the area, but of course you can still get into normal random encounters, because why not? Or, did I call the first random encounters random? Because they're not random, they're set. The skeleton guys you see walking around, or standing around and dancing, you have to fight them, and that's really unfortunate, because it just makes this area drag on. Especially now that I've taken care of everything else, and every enemy here is just so easy to take down. Especially these Scourgers. I believe these guys actually run away sometimes. They don't do it too frequent. Okay, so they don't do it too frequently. That guy just wanted to disprove me, but they usually sort of stand and fight. But yeah, nothing here is going to be tough. Actually, even back in the, even if I did this earlier, I don't think it would be that bad, and I thought there was a treasure that way. That's another thing, actually. The treasures are also randomly placed. Actually, the treasures are set to certain floors, so on floor 1 there's always a certain kind of treasure, like, say for certain, there's always going to be a high potion on the first floor. However, because the first floor, what it actually is, can change, it's going to be placed in different areas each time, so that's kinda neat, except it doesn't really matter that much. Most of the items you're gonna get down here aren't really that useful. I believe the best items you actually get in this dungeon are like silver apples, which can increase a character's HP slightly. Other than that, though, there's not much here. There isn't even anything written on that gravestone, but hey! At least we're out of here and into a decent area. This isn't anything too spectacular, but it's kind of a neat little puzzle. But it'll become obvious. As you can see, you have to follow the trees. Other than that, there's really not much to this area, because, well, it's a desert. What is there going to be? Just lots and lots of sand. Just keep walking on, getting attacked by enemies sometimes, and eventually we'll get out. And there's nothing over here by this tree. Tree, you lied to me! You deceived me! You brought me out here so I could be attacked by a freaky-looking lizard thing that can probably turn me to stone, but didn't because it's dead. Thanks a lot, tree, you dumb jerk. Ah, well. You can potentially just walk around and, you know, be lost and then eventually find this area by accident, but much better to follow the trees. Also, this area is very, very easy to get through. Both the cave areas in this section are pretty easy to navigate. There's also some treasure down here, and these wild knacks. Now, these guys run away a lot. Trust me on this one. However, they are pretty much the fastest enemies in the game, and despite the fact that we're coming in here very late in the game, they're still outspeeding us. All of them. So, yeah, I'd say they're pretty damn fast. But of course, by this point, they're really no threat to us. No matter how many there are in a single fight, they're only going to do 1 damage, or they're going to run. Now, there are a couple items down here. Are they worth it? Probably not, but hey, I might as well show that they're here anyway. Because why not? I like going out of my way and getting attacked for no reason whatsoever. Ah well, floor's over already. And here we are on the 5th floor. So, choose a door, and we get to fight a boss. Oh, no wonder this dungeon had so many sucky floors. It was based on Final Fantasy III. Oh, that explains everything. Anyway, yes, the bonus dungeon has bosses based on technically earlier but chronologically later games in the Final Fantasy series. In this case, we have Final Fantasy III bosses. This guy is one of the bosses from the World of Darkness. He was one of the 4 bosses that was technically optional, but very much suggested to fight, because otherwise the final boss would just remove you from existence, plain and simple. Here, though, he is very, very easy to beat, unlike his Final Fantasy III counterpart. In fact, he can only really do physical attacks and Thundara, and by this point in the game, he is a joke. Just a complete joke. You shouldn't have any trouble taking him down, even if you come here a bit early. I mean, maybe if you do it immediately you might struggle, but for the most part you should be fine, really. You don't even have to buff yourself, to be honest. And I'm probably going to place down these tempers and hastes and all that, and then he's going to be dead pretty much immediately after. And it technically proved me wrong because I didn't even temper and haste everyone. So yep, Cerberus. Sad, pitiful excuse for a boss. We get a weapon we can't use because we don't have a ninja, and that door back there... Yeah, that door actually locks when you enter it, so... There are 3 other bosses in here. We can't actually go back and fight them. We have to do the dungeon again. So... For now, gonna stay in these caves. See you back when I leave, and then go back in to fight the boss. You want to know something exciting? I'll show you something exciting. Look at that! Dante and Lynx have both become followers of Satan. Oh, and also, I guess, we're fighting the second boss, which is another boss from the World of Darkness in Final Fantasy III. I'm pretty sure you can understand the pattern here. So, if you ever hated the World of Darkness bosses for being dumb, and in a terrible dungeon with no point of return, and also back attacks with enemies that could pretty much wipe the floor with ya, well, this is your chance to get back at him. Because they are very, very easy. Echidna here is a little bit more difficult than Cerberus was, in that she can cast instant death spells. Now, I'm pretty sure all my characters are actually protected from instant death stuff, so throwing up null death right there was kind of pointless, but hey! You wouldn't see what the spell looked like otherwise, so why wouldn't I show it off? Anyway, yeah, that was Earthquake, and since it can't affect me, she's really got nothing else to throw at me. This is pretty much going to be another walk in the park, just like Cerberus, but just be aware if you fight her earlier on, you will probably die here. It's pretty likely. But again, not going to happen. Not even going to bother buffing, really. Yeah, see? Didn't even need to buff. I can just attack and attack and attack and she'll go down. And we got an X potion. Oh, really helpful. Well, you know, it might come in useful, but whatever. Anyway, I gotta do this dungeon again. Oh boy, if you thought the last bosses were weak, oh boy, you haven't seen anything yet. Take this guy, for example. Oh yeah, that'll totally happen. Two-headed dragon. He can do nothing but attack. No, seriously. There is not a single other thing he can do. At least Cerberus had a lightning move. This guy, he's got nothing. To be honest, I think he was actually one of the tougher bosses of World of Darkness. He actually had a really high attack power in that game, and I'm pretty sure he could only attack in that game too, but it was a lot more devastating in that version. Here, though, he has got no chance whatsoever. I am going to tear him in probably halves, possibly more. I'm going to tear him up at least a few times, I know that. He's too frail to not be torn up. Also, I just thought I'd point out that Dante and Lynx, still followers of Satan. Yeah, going through the dungeon again doesn't give me all that much experience. I got some, but not enough to level. So, oh boy, I can't wait to see what I went through the dungeon this time for. What did I go through it for? Come on, tell me. Wow, he still didn't die. I expected him to die, and then I would read off whatever crappy item I got. But sadly, it was not to be. Might as well just... I don't know why I bother buffing, to be honest. It's not necessary for these guys. There we go. See? He's dead. That was easy. So, what crappy item did I come here for? Bard's Tunic. Bard's Tunic? I'm pretty sure that's terrible. What's it do? Seriously? Well, it raises evasion, but I don't care at all. It sucks even for White Mage. That's kinda pathetic. Anyway, gonna run through the dungeon one last time. You know, I really don't care if this dungeon only has 5 floors, because I had to go through it 4 times. That's 20 floors of this dungeon. And you know what? You could say that technically it was only 16 floors, because this last floor you don't get into any enemy encounters, and you just pretty much move around to fight the bosses. But that's still 16 floors, and only 4 of those were actually unique. It was then just repeated over and over and over again. And you know what? I'm partially to blame the fact that I'm so annoyed with this dungeon, with the fact that there's that stupid forest map that I really hate, because it just takes so long to get through, but none of the floors are actually that good. I mean, the desert one's kinda neat, but it is just a desert, where you wander around and follow trees. And then the other 2 maps are really short caves. I kinda wish this entire dungeon was just those 2 caves, because those are just so easy to get through, but there's still nothing interesting. Yeah, kind of off to a bad start with these bonus dungeons, but hey, at least we get to end off with the toughest of the 4 bosses here. That's not saying much at all, really. Ahriman, I believe, was also the toughest of the 4 bosses in the World of Darkness, but don't quote me on that, because I'm not quite sure, because I don't like Final Fantasy III, if that wasn't obvious by now, but Ahriman is pretty much the toughest guy here. He's got a fair amount of HP, some pretty good defense, yada yada yada. He's also got some pretty good abilities. He's got all 3 of the party attacks, the elemental ones, such as Blaze, Ice Storm, and Thunderbolt, I believe. He's also got Earthquake, which I believe he's already shown off, which of course is a one-hit kill, and he can also heal himself, but that doesn't matter because he's dead. So yeah, that's the end of him. He was the toughest boss, in that he took no time for me to take down. And a Mega Elixir, oh boy. That was whatever. So yeah, that was Earthgift Shrine. It was fulfilling in absolutely no way whatsoever. I fought bosses from a game I don't even like, and we learned absolutely nothing. I mean, I guess Dante and Lynx are Satan worshippers now, but what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? It means absolutely nothing. So, let's just leave this dumb dungeon behind and hopefully move on to greener pastures. And by greener, I mean they are slightly more green, but really not that green. Because we still have to go through dungeons multiple times. Ugh.